the left. Okay, go ahead.
I found love in you, and I've learned to love me too.
Oh, y'all waiting on me?
What's up?
Have a seat. You should have threw something at me. Not as swift as I once was. But it's so nice to have you two here in matrimony. I can't even believe I'm saying this. My daughter, who I adopted years ago, and my son. So this is really nice. In the outline from the organization, there's so many things can be said, but some of it's optional, especially when you got people that's newer in the truth. A lot of things they need to hear, but some of this stuff, I mean, you know it, so you wouldn't be at this point spiritually. But we do want to go over a couple things just to reiterate what Jehovah's thinking is. And so we go back to our Bibles at Genesis 1:28. We notice is when Jehovah told the couple that he wanted them to be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. But the most important point there in those scriptures in Genesis was Genesis 2:24. And it's probably the most misunderstood scripture in the Bible when it comes to getting married. And that is, it says, that is why the man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife. And here's the point. They become one flesh. You don't have two separate wills. You don't have this agenda. She has that agenda. It's one will, one flesh. So, you know, I'm going to always bring it up to modern day application. We got people now getting married. They got separate passwords. Can't look at my phone. Why not? If you one flesh, you got nothing to hide. See, so none of those things should ever be an issue. Everything is openly exposed because you're one flesh. When you see dividedness in those types of things, it's a clear indication that those persons that are married, even now, don't have clearly in mind Jehovah's thoughts in becoming one flesh. And there's an interesting article in 2 Awake magazines that even says this. It says that this relationship between you two supersedes your parents and your children. Jehovah didn't say the children, the mother, the father, the grandpa, and all of them become one flesh. He said you two become one flesh. So it's you, Robert, India, and Jehovah against the world, and along with the support of your brothers and sisters. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12, we know that's where it talks about how when one of you are down, you'll pick the other one up. And then Jehovah is that third cord that is completely unbreakable. Nothing can rock this marriage if Jehovah's will is always first. It's the Lord's business right now. It ain't about ours. It's not about what we feel personally. It's none of that stuff. Out the window. It's the Lord's business. Take care of it, and you'll be fine. So let's talk about these husbands for a minute. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but my boy, I've trained him well to know what a real man is. And in 1 Corinthians 11:3, it talks about that headship arrangement, but you have to recognize you have a head, and that's Jesus. And you're accountable for everything you do to this young baby sheep here. Jesus is your head, and you have to respect that. And it also goes on to say in Ephesians 5:25, husbands, continue loving your wife as he did the congregation. And what did he do? He gave his life up for her. So your job on earth is to protect her spiritually and physically where Jehovah protects you. But spiritually speaking, nothing should get in between you and her. And you have to be on the lookout for anything that's going on in that house or outside sources or on her job when she's calling me saying, Dad, I can't take this job no more. It's your turn now. Don't worry about it, babe. I got you. We don't have to worry about this because it's us and Jehovah. And then also Ephesians 5:28-29, it mentions that a man would cherish his wife like his own body. And when we talk about cherishing it, when you think about something you cherish, it's like a treasure. You don't take a treasure and do anything negative to it. You take care of it, you prize it, you highly value it. And that's how you have to look at little India, Jehovah's little baby sheep. And that's what we have to keep in mind always, that all of us, we're Jehovah's sheep. We don't have the right to not treat each other right, because that's Jehovah's sheep. No doubt about it. And I know you'll do a good job with it. Again, I know how you were raised. At Matthew 11:29, it just mentions that be mild-tempered, lowly in heart. Colossians 3:19, never be bitterly angry with your wife. Sometimes you might have to go for a ride, brother. Just go for a ride. Come back, and then never be bitterly angry. And I know you usually just go quiet anyway for a bit. So get used to his little quietness. Yeah. And the last thing with you, 1 Peter 3:7, it talks about assigning your wife honor as a weaker vessel, the feminine one. And 99% of men got the scripture all twisted because they think it means that the woman is weaker. And I heard men say, oh, it's because they're emotional, they don't make good decisions under pressure. That's a bunch of garbage, and it's not spiritual. Jehovah told Abraham to listen to Sarah, listen, because she's smart. Abigail had an idiot for a husband, Nabal. What did she do? She averted murder because she was smart and took preemptive action with her stupid husband. So never diminish them. That weaker vessel, really, the way it was translated, means that it's so precious that it's a weaker vessel. When you have precious vases and things of that nature, their value is stupid high, but you have to protect it. And so that's all it means. And when we look back through the scriptures, the women have done much better jobs than most of the men. Who was the first people Jesus appeared to? Was it the apostles? No, they went back fishing. And he did, I'm gone. But what did they do? The women stayed right there. And he revealed himself to women first. So never diminish a woman. And the only reason why they're the head, a man is the head, there's only one reason. It's because Jehovah created us first. That's it. No superiority, one way or the other. And then now, dealing with my little dear India, my daughter. I know you know full about submission to your husband. It's brought out of Ephesians 22:24. We've had so many conversations, so I know how you feel. But it mentions in everything. And sometimes some imperfect women can get to a point where they feel they can choose when they're going to be submissive and when they're not. Especially if their husband has a flaw. That's hard for you guys. But in creation, you guys are the only one that chooses your head. See, man don't choose his head. It's already set. Jesus couldn't choose his head. You choose your head. So once you make that choice, then you have to show submission to him. Have deep respect for him, and be patient, as mentioned in Colossians. Both of you will need the patience to deal with each other's imperfection. But again, when Jehovah's business is first, when the Lord's business is number one in the family, no problem at all. And then lastly, take time periodically to go over 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, verses 4-8, where it deals with what love is and what it isn't. Because you'll start to see imperfect traits come up in your marriage that maybe you or one of you may start to manifest. Go back and read those scriptures. Say, am I doing this the way love is intended to be? And if you do those things, you'll make adjustments and it'll work out just fine. So now, getting to the other part, the vows. And the question is, who gives this woman away to marry this man, Robert? I do. That's my daughter. It's kind of weird because I should be mad at him. You know, he's my son, so what's up with that, right? So anyway, I do give her away. So Robert, you need to repeat after me a few things. I'm going to take it, break it up as small as words like sentences. Right. So I, get your name. That's an inside joke. So, what is that, a comedy show? What are the shows? The guy.
Robert Proud.
Okay, all right. Take you,
Take
India,
you-
Lucretia,
Take you, India Lucretia,
to be my wedded wife. You can stand up, boy. I guess it's time.
to be my wedded wife,
To love and to cherish
to love and to cherish,
in accord with the divine law set forth in the Holy Scripture. Is that too much?
man,
With the divine law
with the divine law
set forth
set forth
in the Holy Scripture
in the Holy Scriptures
of Christian husbands.
for Christian husbands,
For as long as we both shall live
for as long as we both shall live
together on earth
together on earth,
according to God's marital arrangement.
according to God's marital arrangement.
All right. And now, dear India, India,
I, India,
take you, Robert Clay Proud,
make you, Robert Clay Proud,
to be my wedded husband,
to be my wedded husband,
to love, to cherish,
to love, to cherish,
and deeply respect,
and deeply respect,
in accord with the divine law
in accord with the divine law
as set forth in the Holy Scripture
set forth in the Holy Scripture.
for Christian wives. For as long as we both shall live
For as long as we both shall live
together on earth
together on earth,
according to God's marital arrangement.
according to God's marital arrangement.
All right. Are there wings to be exchanged? Wings. All right, y'all just do your thing. I need some water.
Yeah.
I don't know what she
I got a couple of more words to say, but